All right, welcome back to the C Files, folks. Let's jump right on into this. Let's plug this. Thanks for joining me. And we are it's another devotion time, and we're going to be in the book of Daniel, Daniel chapter 4. Daniel's one of the prophets in the Bible, pre-Christ, and he's during the time of the Babylonian occupation or the Babylonian, well, Israel was captured by Babylon, destroyed in Judah as well, taken into servanthood or slavery into Babylon. And Daniel was taken with them. And now God is prophesying through Daniel, or God is giving Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, dreams, and he's given Daniel the ability to interpret these dreams. And so Daniel is becoming a favorite of Nebuchadnezzar when it comes to that. So let's go into chapter 4. Nebuchadnezzar is going to have another dream, and let's see what happens here in chapter 4. Nebuchadnezzar the king, to all peoples, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth. Peace be multiplied to you. I thought it good to declare the signs and wonders that the Most High God has worked for me. He's talking about the God of Daniel. He's talking about the God of Israel. He's talking about the one true God because, Daniel had already had, and uh, uh, Meshach, Abednego, and the other one, can't think of his name. Anyway, they had an effect as well, Daniel's companions. And this was after the furnace that they were thrown into and then came back out of because God had supernaturally and divinely protected them from that. And if, it's easy to go to something like that and say, oh, come on, that's just a children's tale. That didn't actually happen. Sure, it's easy to do that if you have a materialistic philosophy or mindset. But if you can capture in your mind the truth that the supernatural does exist and that there is a supernatural, all-powerful God that can do these things, it's not so difficult to understand that or to grasp it or to believe it. So it's all about our worldview. And so we'll move on with verse 3. How great are his signs? Let me go back to 2 and get the full thought. I thought it to be good to declare the signs and wonders that the Most High God has worked for me. How great are his signs and how mighty his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. This is coming from the king of Babylon. This is coming from Nebuchadnezzar. I believe this man became a believer in Yahweh. I believe that there was a work of regeneration that occurred in Nebuchadnezzar's heart, and God changed him and gave him eternal life. I believe that actually happened. So this can happen to leaders, world leaders, leaders of nations. Verse 4, he's going to tell the story of what happened. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at rest in my house and flourishing in my palace. I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts on my bed and the visions of my head troubled me. Therefore I issued a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known to me the interpretation of the dream. Then the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers came in, and I told them the dream, but they did not make known to me its interpretation. Let me, oh, hold on. Having an issue. Having a technical stand issue for my Bible here. All right, here we go. There we are. To continue on. But at last Daniel came before me. His name is Belshazzar, according to the name of my God. In him is the Spirit of the Holy God. And I told the dream before him, saying, Belshazzar, chief of the magicians, because I know that the Spirit of the Holy God is in you, and no secret troubles you. Explain to me the visions of my dream that I have seen and its interpretation. These were the visions of my head while on my bed. I was looking, and behold, a tree in the midst of the earth, and its height was great. The tree grew and became strong. Its height reached to the heavens, and it could not be seen to the ends of all the earth. Its leaves were lovely, its fruit abundant, and in it was food for all. The beasts of the field found shade under it. The birds of the heavens dwelt in its branches, and all flesh fled from it. I saw the visions of my head while on my bed, and there was a watcher, a holy one, coming down from heaven. He cried aloud and said thus, Chop down the tree and cut off its branches. Strip off its leaves and scatter its fruit. Let the beasts get out from under it, and the birds from its branches. Nevertheless, leave the stump and roots in the earth, bound with a band of iron bronze in the tender grass of the field. Let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let him graze with the beast on the grass of the earth. Let his heart be changed from that of a man, and let him be given the heart of a beast, and let 7 times pass over him. Getting interesting? Oh, it's going to get good here in a moment. This decision is by the decree of the watchers, and the sentence by the word of the holy ones, in order that the living may know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men. Let us learn that lesson today. That the Most High still rules in the kingdom of men. Nothing has changed concerning that over 4,000 years of history. God still rules over the kingdoms, the nations of men. That the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, gives it to whomever he will, and sets over it the lowest of men. So now you know why sometimes the most debased men or women rise to the top and rule things. This dream I, King Nebuchadnezzar, have seen. Now you, Belteshazzar, declare its interpretation, since all the wise men of my kingdom are not able to make known to me the interpretation, but you are able, for the Spirit of the Holy God is in you. Then Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, was astonished for a time, and his thoughts troubled him. So the king spoke and said, Belteshazzar, do not let the dream or its interpretation trouble you. Belteshazzar answered and said, My lord, may the dream concern those who hate you, and its interpretation concern your enemies. The tree that you saw, which grew and became strong, whose height reached to the heavens, and which could be seen by all the earth, whose leaves were lovely and its fruit abundant, in which was food for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and in whose branches the birds of the heaven had their home. It is you, O king, who have grown and become strong, for your greatness has grown and reaches to the heavens, and your dominion to the end of the earth. And in so much as the king saw a watcher, a holy one, coming down from heaven and saying, Chop down the tree and destroy it, but leave its stump and roots in the earth, bound with a band of iron and bronze in the tender grass of the field. Let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let him graze with the beasts of the field, till 7 times pass over him. This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which has come upon my lord the king. They shall drive you from men. Your dwelling should be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make you eat grass like oxen. They shall wet you with the dew of heaven, and 7 times shall pass over you, till you know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men and gives it to whomever he chooses. Can we learn that lesson today? We always complain about politics or who got elected. Oh my goodness, it's going to be a total disaster if the people we want to be elected is not elected. And we just wring our hands and worry over it, especially the political junkies. Maybe we need to learn the lesson that God determines who rules the nation. This thing about voting, that this new invention that we came up with politically a few hundred years ago, has really distorted our mind and caused us to think that we actually determine what happens in our nation. Well, the only thing that determines what happens in our nation is two factors. One, our position before the Lord. Are we full of wickedness and evil? Are we running around committing all kinds of wickedness and evil in our nation? Then yes, we're going to be under God's judgment, and God's going to raise up men and women who are going to make our lives miserable. Or are we bowing before God humbly and praying before Him to have mercy upon us, that we might serve Him? Well, if that's the case, if our heart is right with God as a nation, then God will lift up the kind of people to rule over us that will exalt the nation. There's the difference. So stop burdening yourself with the idea that you determine anything with a vote. Verse 26. Inasmuch as they gave the command to leave the stump and the roots of the tree, your kingdom shall be assured to you after you come to know that heaven rules. Oh my goodness, can we please learn this lesson in our day today? The president doesn't rule, the legislature doesn't rule, the courts don't rule, God rules. Can we learn that? I hope so. Therefore, O king, let my advice be acceptable to you. Break off your sins by being righteous, and your iniquities by showing mercy to the poor. But there it is. Perhaps there may be a lengthening of your prosperity. All this came upon King Nebuchadnezzar. At the end of 12 months, he was walking about the royal palace in Babylon, of Babylon. The king spoke, saying, Is not this great Babylon that I have built for a royal dwelling by my mighty power and for the honor of my majesty? The ultimate narcissist that wants his name in the neon lights on the great building he built. The great, he wanted his name proclaimed throughout the kingdom as the great Nebuchadnezzar that built this great kingdom. He wanted to have that sense of greatness on the earth that many of us have desired in our own lives. Watch what happens. While the word was still in the king's mouth, a voice fell from heaven. King Nebuchadnezzar, to you it is spoken. The kingdom has departed from you, and they shall drive you from men, and your dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. They shall make you eat grass like oxen, and 7 times shall pass over you. I I can only assume that's probably 7 years or 7 months. It could be 7 months, could be 7 years, I'm not sure. But 7 times shall pass over you until you know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men and gives to it whomever he chooses. Folks, we better learn this lesson in America today. That very hour the word was fulfilled concerning Nebuchadnezzar. He was driven from men and ate grass like oxen. His body was wet with the dew of heaven till his hair had grown like eagles' feathers, and his like eagle's feathers, and his nails like bird's claws. And at the end of the time, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted my eyes to heaven, and my understanding returned to me, and I blessed the Most High, and praised and honored him who lives forever. For his dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation. God's kingdom never ends, folks, and nothing can overthrow it. All the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing. So whoever you think is great in the earth, they're not. All the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing. I doubt anyone alive today could even begin to match the greatness of Nebuchadnezzar back then. And yet, even he was reputed as nothing. He does according to his will in the army of heaven. God does as he pleases. Nobody can tell him no. And among the inhabitants of the earth, no one can restrain his hand or say to him, what have you done? At the same time, my reason returned to me, and for the glory of my kingdom, my honor and splendor returned to me. My counselors and nobles resorted to me. I was restored to my kingdom, and excellent majesty was added to me. Here's why. Watch this. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the kingdom of heaven. There you go. All of whose works are truth and his ways justice. And those who walk in pride, he is able to put down. Folks, I hear something today that bothers me. And it's this. I'm proud to be an American. How about the song? Proud to be an American. You know that song? Watch out for pride. God will abase and humble you. Be careful, America, about being too prideful. God will abase and humble this country if we're not careful. He did it to Nebuchadnezzar. He did it to Babylon. The good news is Nebuchadnezzar praised him and glorified him in the end. I believe Nebuchadnezzar was saved. I believe I will have an opportunity to meet Nebuchadnezzar in heaven along with Daniel. I could be wrong, but I think this is a pretty good indication. Let's be careful, folks, about being too prideful. We need humility, and we need grace and mercy in our lives. Thanks for watching. I'm going to cut this one off at this point because I'm about to go into Matthew 24 in the next video, next reading, and I got to spend some time on Matthew 24. That's a very special one. I'll see you next time here on the C Files. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you. God bless.